everybody. This is Professor Alex. I'm also here with Tucker. So today I just wanted to give you a little bit of information about your playlist project that you will be doing as your one of your main projects for your class. So I'll try to get through this quickly and just give you an example. I will say that I've done this project a lot in the past, but I always do it in in-person classes. So I've never tried to do this in an async class, but I thought this would be like a fun, easy partner project where you're really just more so talking about music and analyzing the music that you listen to, and hopefully you can maybe bond over music that you listen to or even learn new music from your partner. And selfishly, I love this project because I get to learn new music too. And I love all types of music. So I look forward to it. So let me pop in real quick to, first of all, if you actually go to, your Canvas page and you go to assignments, if you go down to project two, for this project, this is where the instructions are. So essentially, as a recap, it's worth 50 points. I have already assigned you a partner, so I would highly recommend getting in contact with that partner. I know the project isn't due for a little bit, but you don't want it to be a week before the project and you're trying to get in contact with your partner. So I would do that ASAP. I can't do it from my end because it's different, but for you on your Canvas, there should be something here that says groups. And you should be able to go in, and I called it PP groups, like playlist project groups. So you should be able to go in and find your group. It's just two of you, so it's really a pair. And within there, you should be able to find your partner's email. So make sure that you reach out. And if you want to communicate by email, that's fine. But if you want to get each other's number, or whatever you want to do to get in contact with your partner to be able to work on this, definitely do that. So what you're going to do is pick one sociological concept, and it can be any of these. If you want to do something outside of these, that's fine, but let me know because I have had students almost like choose like chapters before or concepts that are more so like psychological, or I've had students kind of choose concepts that weren't quite sociological concepts. So that's why I tried to give you a list of options here. If there's something that you're interested in outside of this, of course, just let me know. And if that works, I will approve that. But so you'll work together with a partner, you'll choose one sociological concept, and essentially what you do is therefore create a playlist of songs that exemplify that concept. You can either choose a concept and then find songs, but if I were you, I would listen to your music and think about what kind of sociological concepts or themes that you find throughout the music that you listen to. But of course, you'll be working with a partner, so you have to kind of make that work together. To be clear, it does not have to be English music. I have a lot of students who are like, does it have to be English? No, it doesn't. Does it have to be recent music? No, it doesn't. It can be whatever it is, but preferably what you listen to. If you are going to present on a song, it should be a song that you like, right? So really just as long as it's something that you genuinely listen to, and that's cool. I will say, as I kind of wrote, I get very annoyed when people just kind of like Google songs about race or Google songs about sexism. Like I've seen that 100 times. I don't want that. And based off of that, to be clear, the song does not need to be about the concept. Like you're not going to find a song that is just about patriarchy or has the word patriarchy within it. Like that's going to be rare. But you can pull out themes or like lyrics that allude to that, right? I'm even thinking about, for example, like This Is America by Childish Gambino. He doesn't once say racism in that song within the lyrics, but you know that the song is about racism or discrimination or whatever it is that you want to talk about. So the song does not need to use the word, the song does not even need to be about the concept. You can kind of go either way. You can have a song where there's a lyric within that song that has to do with your chosen concept, or just the overall song can be, an example of your chosen concept. So don't think too hard into it, like trying to find a song that uses the word colorism. You're not gonna find that. But there might be a song that alludes to something about colorism. You know what I mean? Like I think about songs, I don't want to quote things, but well, let me even just say like Childish Gambino again, he has a song called Redbone, right? And so that could be an example of colorism, right? So more so like using your imagination, and again, doesn't have to use that specific word, and the song doesn't necessarily need to be about racism. Like a lot of people will do, if they're doing racism as a concept, they'll do like Bigger Picture by Lil Baby, because that song quite literally is about racism, right? But it's not often that you will find songs that are directly about one of these concepts. So it's more so about listening to your music and pulling out themes that you've read about throughout class, that are relevant to sociology. So try not to overthink it and just kind of, again, listen to your music and see what you find that you're like, oh, we kind of talked about that in sociology. So overall, you'll choose 6 songs as a pair. So that should be 3 songs per person in the group. Again, you should be talking to your partner about this and make sure that your songs kind of like flow together to some degree. But at the same time, the songs don't even need to be in the same genre. Like it doesn't have to all be hip hop. It doesn't have to all be country. Like you can have a variety of songs and a variety of genres. If anything, that would interest me more. So get creative, again, do what you like, and just analyze your music and see what you can find. For the presentation, because this is async, this is new to me in terms of actually like making a full on presentation about it. But what I would recommend is making a Google slide that you can share with your partner. And I expect about 10 slides. I'm about to show you an example of what I did, so you can kind of base it off of that. But I also want to say that my example is not necessarily exactly what I'm looking for, but more so to give you an example, not necessarily what I want the project to look like, and I'll go into that. You have flexibility here, but there are certain points that you need to hit. So, of course, I do want a title page that has everyone's name on it in terms of the people that you're working with. I do want a slide with your chosen concept that explains and defines your concept and why it's important. And then, the next 3 slides should be the song and any sort of theme or lyric that you're pulling out from those songs. And then the next 3 slides should be your partner who is listing their 3 songs and why their 3 songs are exemplify the chosen concept. And then I would like a final slide that kind of is some sort of summary where you tie everything together, and whatever that kind of means to you. So again, like I said, like the songs should be what you actually listen to. You shouldn't be Googling any songs about a certain topic. Like that's when the projects tend to go downhill. I love it does not need to be mainstream. It can be something so niche. And if anything, that is more impressive to me. Like I want to know what you listen to. So again, I would like you to, as a submission, upload a Google slide. And to be clear, I do want like a video or voice overlay on the Google Slides. So I don't want to just be reading your slides. I want for each slide for someone to be talking about that. And to be honest, I'm not super tech savvy, so I don't know exactly how to do that. But if you need help with that, I'm sure I can figure it out. But I'm sure that's a quick Google search or a YouTube search where you can figure out how to do like a voice overlay or a video overlay on each slide. So I do want to see each person in the group explaining their 3 songs, whether that's video or audio. Either way, it's fine with me. It is due on April 30th by 11:59, so you have plenty of time to do this. I just wanted to give you time to think about this in advance. So I made an example. It's not the best example because I'm one of those people who like goes way too hard and I need to chill, to be honest. So I'm not expecting anything like this. Like I said, I only want 6 songs, three songs each, but it would be something like this. So of course, playlist project, the class, maybe like, like Professor Alex. And then I would want the 2 partner names here, whoever worked on it. The second slide should be the concept that you chose. So for me, meritocracy. And so I kind of start off with, well, what is merit, right? So Google defines merit as the quality of being particularly good or worthy, especially so as to deserve praise or reward. And then I go into kind of defining meritocracy, which refers to the idea that in society, anyone who works hard will make it or be successful, in terms of achieving the American dream. So in sociology, we usually refer to this as the meritocracy myth. because we like to say that we are in a meritocracy. Oh, if you work hard, you will be successful. But realistically, there's a lot of other factors that go into success that aren't just about working hard. And I know y'all are in my in-person class, so something that I bring up with meritocracy a lot is that, for example, CEOs make 300 times out of the average worker. And do I think that they work 300 times as hard as the average worker? No. And I would also argue, as my own just biased opinion, that when I think about who really works hard, I usually think of more so low income people who are working multiple jobs. Like I think of like a single mom who has to work multiple jobs to put food on the table for their kids. Like that's someone who I think is working hard, like working multiple jobs, comes home, still has to take care of the family, like whatever. But I think the people who are struggling and are working really hard to try to get out of that are the people who are working really hard. In terms of CEOs, the only, excuse that my students have provided, which I think is valid, is that CEOs have a lot of responsibility because they do run the company. So therefore, sure, they should make more, but not 300 times that of the average employee. And again, I do think that the people who are working hard are more so the people who are struggling, in my opinion. But take with what you will. I actually forgot to update this because I really did mess around with a lot of songs and what I wanted to choose as a song. I forgot to update this, to be honest. These are the songs I was gonna start with. You can see that I wrote replace. But I would like something where you do something like this where you tell me the playlist, right? Like the song, who wrote it, and what year did it come out, so that if I want to actually look at the song, I have the information there. So again, this isn't accurate to mine, but whatever. So I have Grindin, where for all of these, I kind of like provided three quotes that I thought were good examples of meritocracy. For your project, you do not need to do all this. You can provide one quote. You can provide two quotes. You don't need to provide multiple quotes, though. And like I said, the song might not have quotes that directly address your concept. It might just be the overall theme of the song. Like, for example, you can see one of the first songs I thought of when I thought of meritocracy was Started from the Bottom, Now We Here by Drake, right? And I couldn't really pull out any specific quotes that address meritocracy, but the song in general addresses meritocracy. So, again, it doesn't have to have direct quotes, but it could just be a song that alludes to whatever your concept is. But I was trying to break it down to songs where I could find specific examples for you all. But again, it doesn't have to be that. But so we see with grinding, like maybe you should spend a little less time with women on your arms and a little bit more time with your career. This is directly kind of alluding to meritocracy in that, hey, like if you're spending time with your social life, like maybe if you want to be successful, you should stop, hanging with your girl or with your friends and actually lock in and grind, and then you'd be successful, right? So that's a good example of meritocracy. And in general, just to say simply what meritocracy is to me is the idea of if you work hard, you'll make it. And I'm bringing up a lot of hip hop songs because I listen to a lot of hip hop and rap. And I chose this concept because this is a concept that I see a lot when I listen to my music. This kind of idea of, well, if I worked hard and made it, then you should be able to do it too. If I made it out, you should be able to make it too. Like if you just work hard, you can make it too. And of course, we know that there are barriers to that. And you could be a wildly, fantastically talented musician and still not make it, right? Like you could be the best singer ever and still not make it and become famous, right? So it comes down to a lot of different things, a lot of different factors beyond just working hard. I thought of Juicy by B.I.G., where the whole song, coming up with specific quotes from this song was kind of difficult, but the whole song is about him coming from the bottom and working hard and making it to the top, and him reflecting on where he was and where he is now. But I thought that this was like a kind of a good ironic example. Considered a fool because I dropped out of high school, stereotypes of a black male misunderstood, and it's still all good. I thought this was kind of a funny example because, oh my gosh, like people look up to Biggie, right? And imagine at that time, he's like considered a fool because I dropped out of high school, but it's still all good. Like, are you going to influence people to actually drop out of high school and think like, oh, well, Biggie dropped out of high school and made it, so I can drop out of high school and make it? Some people can do that. but most people cannot, right? So I just thought that that would be like probably a really impactful line at that time where people might have been like, well, Biggie dropped out and made it, so I can drop out and make it. And again, that goes into meritocracy because that doesn't work for everybody and it doesn't work for most people. Empire State of Mind, this was also a very ironic example for me where Jay-Z in his first verse says, "City is a pity, half of y'all won't make it. Something, something, something. Long live the king. I'm the Empire State of." And then it goes into Alicia Keys of New York. Don't make me sing. But it's mad funny because he goes, "City is a pity, half of y'all won't make it." And then the chorus goes, "Concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do." No, you definitely can't just do whatever you want. You definitely can't just do whatever you want. But it's just funny to me, like in the same breath, we go, half of y'all won't make it, and then Alicia Keys pops in, like, there's nothing you can't do here. That's not the reality. It's not just, oh, you moved to New York and now you can just aspire to any dream that you want and you'll be successful. Like that's not true. That's the ideology like that we like to put forward and we like to make people think that in the US. Like that's a big thing that we have here. Like if you just work hard, you'll achieve the American dream. Oh my God, move to LA. Oh my God, move to New York and everything's gonna open up for you. But of course, that's not necessarily true. I also had in my life, this is aging me, this is like a very old song by The Game and Lil Wayne, but the chorus is I'm like trying not to sing these because I have no intonation. But he goes like, I'm grinding until I'm tired, and you're not grinding until you're tired. So I'm grinding with my eyes wide, looking to find a way through the day, a light through the night. And then there's a lyric where he goes, where the game goes, we're not the same. I am a Martian. You see those 24 spinning, I earned them. So they're kind of alluding to the fact that like what he's saying is we're not the same. I worked hard and I earned the things that I have, and you don't have them because you're not grinding until you're tired. Which again is where it's funny to me because a lot of people who are low income are grinding, right? And so, whatever, I thought this is kind of like another ironic example of, oh, well, you're not grinding, and that's why I have what I have, and you don't have what I have. Where again, people work really hard, but that doesn't mean that they're able to get out of certain like loops and potholes when it comes to poverty. Lose yourself. This is also kind of an ironic example. And I like these examples because they're not directly addressing meritocracy, but it's how you spin it, right? So I thought lose yourself. And to be clear, I'm not like I love all of these songs and I do think that they're inspiring, right? Like they are inspiring. Like I'm not saying that these are negative or anything. Like I love all of these songs. That's why I chose them. And we can totally look at them as inspiring, but just doing like a sociological analysis, I'm like, let me just look into a couple things in terms of a certain perspective. But I'm gonna opens up with if you had one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment, would you capture it or just let it slip? Um, this opportunity comes once in a lifetime. And like, yes, true. We have opportunities in life and we should try to take them, right? But there's a lot of instances where people don't get certain opportunities or opportunities come and they can't take them. I'm about to give a really niche example. There's this show on Netflix that I absolutely love and highly recommend. It's called Rhythm and Flow. And it's like a rap battle type TV show where it's like a reality TV show where they're getting people from all over and having them battle to see who's the best rapper and whatever, right? And so that's a great opportunity. And you see a lot of people in that show who would have never had this opportunity. And this is an opportunity that, like, even if they don't win the show, like, they're still getting a lot of exposure on TV. So it's still a good opportunity. But realistically, like this show and many other reality TV shows, people have to actually like quit their jobs and like be able to not work for a couple months, right? If you go on Rhythm and Flow, you have to be able to not work for a couple of months. And that's a struggle for most of the people on the show. And hopefully you have like a partner who's able to hold it down while you're gone and pursuing this opportunity that hopefully will eventually like, benefit the whole family in the long term. But someone could get this opportunity technically but still be like, I can't afford to take 2 months off of work to pursue this opportunity. So, on one hand, not everyone gets these once in a lifetime opportunities. And sometimes when people do get them, you can't realistically seize them because there's other real life things going on. Like if you have kids and you need to pay for, I don't know, food and care or whatever, and you don't have somebody else in the family, whether a grandparent or aunts and uncles or a partner to help provide for your family or back you up during that opportunity. So I was just kind of thinking about that. Love Yours. This is another ironic one where he goes, this is a great song. My sister loves this song. I think a lot of people love this song. And I love this song too, but it is, I'm sorry, I still vibe out to this song, but I'm, and he addresses it. He's like, I know I'm privileged saying all of this, but he's still, it like drips privilege for me, where he's just like, oh, I know he's trying to say like money doesn't bring happiness, and like, of course, but he really kind of romanticizes being poor. And one of the quotes is, "There's beauty in the struggle, ugliness in the success," and like valid, right? Like again, like I'm not like arguing him, but we are romanticizing the struggle. And it feels very capitalistic to me to be like, oh, well, like the struggle is where the beauty is. Like the struggle is where, like, like I don't know, like just kind of romanticizing the struggle. When in reality, the struggle quite literally is a struggle, and it's not fun. And it's not fun to be like, where is my next meal coming from? Like I've been there where it's like, I don't know where my next meal is coming from, and it's probably going to be ramen. Tugger, you need to wait. I'm recording right now. You need to wait. He's looking for his water bowl, and he knows where the water bowl is. He just likes when I bring him to it, so he's being dramatic. Whatever. But so, whatever. The song just cracks me up because you're saying this as a rich person, and I appreciate that, you know, you're trying to hype people up who are struggling, but at the same time, let's be so real. Like, struggling quite literally is what it is. It's struggling, and like, that's not fun. Trying to go to work and not being able to afford gas. Like, yeah, sure, there's beauty in the struggle, and there's like humbleness, and there's things that we can learn. But at the end of the day, it's not necessarily beautiful if you're in the struggle. I'm sure in retrospect, it's beautiful, but when you're in it, it's not. So again, kind of like highlighting meritocracy in terms of, oh, like the struggle is beautiful, the struggle is good. Um, and like, sure, but again, in terms of meritocracy, like chill, chill, chill. And they have dreams and nightmares. Where of course he talks about like, you used to pray for times like this, rhyme like this, had to grind like this, to shine like this. But the one that cracked me up was really, well, not cracked me up, but I can't even pause this. I do this in one take. I don't know how to edit videos, so he's making me upset, but it's okay. But it's funny where he goes like, well, not funny, but he goes, see my dreams unfold, nightmares come true. It was my time to marry the game, and I said I do. And what I see from this is like he's trying to allude to the fact that like there were sacrifices. Like Armani, I'm trying to see if my friend can like help me with my dog real quick, because like what the heck. Um, but he's alluding to the fact that like he struggled and he grinded and he had to like make a lot of sacrifices to make it to the top. And like absolutely like that's facts. Like you do need to grind and struggle and make sacrifices to make it to the top. Armani, can you come get my dog? He's like crying and I'm trying to record this and I'm embarrassed. Yes, yes. Oh shit, I forgot. Can you just grab him real quick? Because he's just like whining and I'm like thank you. He's like trying to find his water. I don't know if you can like show him where his water is. He's being so silly. I'm like in the middle. I don't know how to edit this out, so like I can't. He wants to know where his water is. Yeah. Bring him. Yeah. Like he is literally like it's always in the same spot. I swear to God. Like I don't know. It never moves. Somebody bring his bowl and let him drink it. Let him drink it, and then we bring him in the room because he's being a nuisance. Thank you so much. I love you. I appreciate you. I hope it's got water. But so, but okay, so this what I was trying to say was that this quote, he's saying that he made sacrifices and that he grinded to make it to the top. And I'm not talking to you. Armani goes, mm-hmm. Good student, good student. But so whatever, like he's alluding to the fact that he made sacrifices to make it to the top. And like realistically, we all make sacrifices, right? And we all do what we have to do, and we all make sacrifices, and we all work really hard to try to get to the top. But again, not everyone's gonna be able to do that. I digress. Let me move on to the next one. I only have two left. So I have Top Off the Bends, which is Thank You Love, by Young Thug and Kodak. I love this song. But they have a lot of quotes like I came from the bottom, now I'm up. I used to be broke, now I'm counting up racks. Got the top off the Benz, it's a Lambo. Came from nothing, I have a thing, now I'm living like a king. I got the money, now I got the fame. And I had to grind to get it. I never had a handout, right? And I see that that's like a theme a lot where it's like I didn't have no help. Like I did this all by myself. And again, because y'all aren't in my intro class, like I'll tell you what I think about that in terms of I have a lot of students, like the US is the most individualistic country in the world. Like we very much focus on ourselves, our own success, and we take a lot of pride in being successful and making it there by ourselves. Like how many times like maybe you've said this or your friends have said this where like oh, I got this and it's because I worked for it. And like nobody helped me with this and it's because I worked for it. It's because I grinded. It's because I sacrificed to get here and like nobody helped me. And like on one hand, like good for you. Like that's awesome that you were like a really hard worker and like that you were able to do that by yourself. But personally, as a sociologist, I'm like, that's sad. Like that's sad that you had to do that by yourself. That's sad that you didn't get help with that. Like that's sad that you didn't feel like you could depend on or lean on or have anybody to support you during this process, right? Like again, great, good for you, right? But again, it's very sad to me when it's like yes, very proud of you, but it makes me sad that you felt like you had to do it all by yourself with no support to get to where you are. Like that to me is like a fundamentally sad thing that is reflective of the fact that we are so individualistic in our country and we don't really have a strong sense of community. So, when I say I had to grind to get it, I never had a handout, like whatever you want to say, handout or like help. Um, Again, just makes me sad that I'll have students who are like, well, I don't want to ask for help because then that person will hold it against me or use it against me or, expect me to owe them something or whatever. And again, that does come back down to the fact that we are a very individualistic country and we do not value community. And so when we do look at meritocracy, we do see like a big theme of individualism. Like meritocracy quite literally is your individual merit. You individually working hard and being a good person and whatever that is to climb to success. So again, I think that like meritocracy and individualism are like quite intrinsically related. And again, of course, we have to work hard to get what we want. I'm not saying that you don't, but it does make me sad that we can't depend on other people to help us on the way up. And again, that's not your fault. That's the way that we have been raised and socialized in this country. So whatever, I see this theme a lot where it's like it's just me and nobody helped me. And then Top Off by Gunna, like he says a lot about I came from the bottom, now on the top, came from nothing. I had to get it, had to hustle. Remember when I was broke, now I'm balling. Had to make out the struggle, had to work for this. And again, of course, if you want to get anywhere in life, you do have to work hard. You do have to struggle. You do have to make sacrifices. But trying to say that like all you have to do is work hard to be successful is a myth. Like that's not true. If it was that easy, then like more of us would be rich and it wouldn't be that like millions of people are in poverty in the US. Because again, I really do think that for the most part, when you look at like low income people, they are working incredibly hard and they probably will never make it out of poverty due to the high cost of being poor and due to, a lot of other things such as like discrimination and privilege and intersectionality and different identities that we have that impact certain opportunities, social capital, cultural capital, nepotism, right? There's so many factors that come into success that have nothing to do with how hard you're working. Working hard will hopefully make an impact. If you're not working hard, then your chances of success obviously diminish. But you could have somebody who works hard and then somebody else who works hard. But if this person's mom works for a major company and they're able to get you connections and able to connect you to a job with like very prestigious people, the person who's working equally as hard as you but doesn't have those kind of like that social capital or like that kind of nepotism, they're gonna have a harder time making it to the top than the person whose parents have really great connections, right? And that's something that you can't control. So overall, I also want to see a summary. So I didn't really think too hard about these. I don't usually have three things, but I do want a summary that kind of wraps up your whole theme and your songs and your concepts. So here I wrote, it's nice to think that we live in a meritocracy, but this is more so a goal or a myth. A lot of songs brag about working hard, but this is due, or working hard to make it out. This is due to multiple other factors beyond just working hard. And then I wrote, hard work does pay off, but there are challenges based on overall inequity and discrimination in our society that creates barriers or limits opportunities for many people, specifically like marginalized communities, to be able to achieve financial success. So that was kind of my presentation. Again, I did like a lot of songs just to give you some examples. Well, I did one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. I did nine just to give you examples, but I am expecting six from you, three from each partner. And again, I would like to see a title page. I would like to see a definition of meritocracy or your concept and why it's important. I would like to see like kind of your playlist listed out with the artist and the year so that if I want to listen to the song, I can. And then again, each song and kind of an explanation. It does not need to be a quote. Again, it could just be an overall summary of why the song exemplifies your concept. It does not need to be a specific quote. And you also don't need to do multiple quotes. You could pull out one quote, two quotes, but you don't have to go that hard. Another thing that is optional, but I do like to see if there's like one song that you think like really exemplifies your concept, if you want to link that song, like the YouTube video in like a slide for me, if you're like, oh yeah, like I'm trying to like add a slide. If you wanted to do like a video and link like the song that of all six songs you think is like the best example of your concept, that you think I should really listen to, absolutely do that as well. Because again, I'm probably look up all the songs. So, but if you have one that you think really exemplifies your concept, then I would appreciate that, but you don't have to. But otherwise, I do expect like a voice overlay or a video overlay. It doesn't matter to me. But in terms of the timing for that, 30 seconds per slide. Like spend 30 seconds talking about each song. No more than that. Or like 30 seconds per slide, right? Like 30 seconds here. I don't really need you to explain this part. I don't really need you to explain the playlist, but I do want about 30, 45 seconds explaining each song and how it connects to your concept. Minimum 30, max 1 minute. It should not be more than 1 minute per slide. Like that's honestly excessive. Aim for like 30 to 45 seconds. But if you were to do like a longer voiceover or video, it should be for your summary where you're wrapping everything up together. But still, I think that this shouldn't be more than like a minute and a half. Like there's no need. I just want you to kind of really quickly recap how everything connects. But otherwise, that's the project. I'm really hoping that like the overall goal is that you have fun with this, that you can kind of get to know somebody else in class, that you can kind of share what kind of music you listen to. And again, selfishly give me some more music to listen to. And I just want to see that you can connect like media in your real life, like things that you're listening to, things that you're consuming, and how you can pull out sociological concepts from that. So if you can show me that you can successfully do that, you'll be great. But again, don't overthink it. I just pulled together that presentation for y'all, like as an example. I think I did that in 3 hours because I was overthinking it. I had like 20 songs and I wanted to cut it down to like eight, nine, or 10. I had like too many examples and I was like, I need to cut this. So I really can't imagine this taking you more than like 3 hours. So again, have fun with it. Don't overthink it. I do want to see that the slides are aesthetic. I do want to see that the formatting is good. Like I want to see things like, the fonts are the same. You have some sort of theme with your project. I also want to see, for example, like when it comes to this, it really cracks me up. A lot of times y'all will like y'all will like do this like weird thing where you like, and not to like generalize, but I see this a lot where like you'll do like this, where like the words are mad tiny. The point of a presentation is for it to be like readable. Like if you have all this space, do something with it. Like do make it like appropriate size. Like it's okay for the words to take up the whole screen, right? Um, and they should. And again, there should be no explanation on the slides. The explanation should be from your voice. The same way that I just did this, the only thing that I had on the slides was the song and then the quotes that I thought were important. The rest of it I explained verbally. I do not want to see explanations and all these words on the slides. The only thing that should be on the slides is the actual quotes. If you want to be cute and add like the album cover or something like that, go ahead, like make it aesthetic. But again, the only words that should be on the slides is the name of the song and the actual like quotes from the song that you're talking about. So keep it simple, keep it clean, keep it aesthetic. And if you do that, then you should be absolutely fine, more than fine. I'm actually really looking forward to this. I hope you all are as well. If you have any questions, of course, don't hesitate to reach out, send me an email. If you want to hop on a Zoom to talk in more detail, I'm always available for that. But otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your night, and I hope to talk to you all soon. Bye.